views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. I am so glad. I'm just thrilled.
I think I counted 10 welcomes there. Is that about 10?
It's like a lot of welcomes. Remember I used to do that, Benny, and you used to like, oh, how many welcomes did she say?
You did quite a few in a row, but you kind of scaled back a little bit. Yeah,
I scaled back a little bit. But, you know, the juice around it has not changed. And, you know, we were talking this morning about this is the moments of gratitude. And we were talking this morning about, all right, how do you end your day? How do you start your day? And clearly people talk about gratitude lists. But I wonder if we talk about a winning list. And what do I mean by that? Well, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it because Lynn Brown's in the house. You know, what does Lynn mean when she says start winning now? She's going to share 5 gold nuggets for winning at the game of life, because this is something that Lynn has been talking with people about for over a year. Many of you know her, and when we first started out, you know her as the rawness of life. You also know her as Lynn Brown. Get into it. You also know her as winning at the game of life. You also know Lynn as somebody that works with individuals, teams, groups. You also know her as somebody that believes in humanity, that believes in stepping out and helping the world. You know, certainly with the event that she did, you know that she is an amazing financial expert, as well as has a deep, deep, deep consciousness around the energy of money. But today, you're going to hear from Lynn about what this means for everyone to tap into that winning power. And this is what this is about. Lynn, it's great to have you here today. What a really cool topic to talk about.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to have like this fireside, everybody just gather around and let's do this together kind of chat.
You know, I'm struck by a couple of things. Yeah, everybody kind of laughed at what's his face, Charlie Sheen, when they walked up to the dude and they asked him, "How you doing?" He's like, "Winning." But I want to talk about this. You've been doing this for over a year now, actually longer than that, and it's an important topic. And I want to know your experience in saying yes to this. And this is this you said yes to without really knowing exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. I want to know from you, how has your winning perspective, how has that changed for you, not only in what's going on the inside for you, but also how you're showing up in the world?
Well, you know, there are these 5 nuggets, and of course there's more, but there's these 5 nuggets that I firmly believe I live by, and that I want to share with people. And what I've done, Pat, is I've taken these nuggets and habits of life, or habits of action, or habits of thinking, and I've applied it to this process. Mm-hmm. I've applied it to, okay, yes, I'm going to say yes to being on this radio show, which is more than a show, it's a platform, and to me, it's a way of life, right? And I think everything that you engage in takes that route as well. So what I've done is I've taken these aspects that are true to me and proven to me to create success in whatever I apply it to. And I've applied it full on, pedal to the metal to this process with you and your platform and in your group and the family. And what it's done for me is, and I'm going to talk about these in more depth, but
yeah,
it has absolutely allowed me to surround myself by winners that I can attune to, not just mentally getting facts that I could apply to my life, but energetically attuning to people who are already where I want to be is a trick.
Yeah.
And it's a way of life, and it's a absolute winning tool. So I've allowed myself to do that, and it's been nothing but amazing. And like you said, I did not know what I was getting into. I think most time people don't know what they're getting into when they say yes to something. But when I get into it, I jump in with both feet, and I apply these nuggets. And so I've allowed myself to surround myself by winners who have pulled me up even higher, right, in the winning average, I would say. Opportunities and doors and windows and all kinds of things open up, or continuously opening up. And my job is just keep saying yes. Another thing that has changed in my life over the last couple of years is, I didn't know the first thing about radio. Like literally, I got this inner instinct, or for my higher self, that I needed to contact you and I needed to know you. I just needed to engage, and I didn't know what that was for. And it was about not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing, but I came in full transparency and surrender to I know nothing. And I am craving to know what you know, to understand, to be what you be as far as the success piece, right? As far as what you know and just what you embody about success and about even the daily aspects. Like I didn't even know how to stand in the radio room. I just knew nothing. I knew nothing. And of course, I've transformed so much there, but the willingness to just follow these nuggets and surrender to the process and know that I'm not, I don't already know, I know nothing, has transformed to I know a lot. I know a lot. And another thing is keeping my eye on a focal point and engaging in this process. This was the focal point, right? This was the goal. This was the destination, and anything else were but particles of dust in my line of vision.
Yeah. Here's what I love about that question, because I want to talk to you about this. Maybe you could share this with our listeners. When somebody says the word winning, they usually think about, wait a minute, if I'm winning, somebody's losing. I mean, it's a really black and white kind of perspective. It's like you're either this or you're either that. In life, though, aren't we learning and realizing that there are some fundamentals that bring a continuum into place? And I know that's what you're talking about today. So when you say surround yourselves with winners, all of us, tell us a little bit about how that is, a cornerstone for this. And, I mean, is that our first gold nugget?
It really is.
All right.
It really is. Pat, I believe that everyone is born a winner, first of all. You come out of the gates a winner, in my perspective of what winning is. I just believe that people, have to believe it themselves and then act like it. Act like a winner. Act like with these actions and with these energies and these determinations. I honestly believe that if someone were to start to implement one or two or all five of these, they wouldn't be able to hide from the amount of success that they would be experiencing for themselves, right? The amount of celebration that they would get to look in the mirror at themselves and say, wow, I am succeeding. I am really stepping into my heartfelt passions. I am really stepping into my full potential. And so that is just a cornerstone of my belief that we already all start out there. We just have to believe it. And then the taking action. So yes, the first nugget is the taking action. And I call this always playing up. Other people would say surround yourself by winner. But playing up, I'll just give a couple examples of my life. I was blessed to have a father who taught me this. And I don't even know if he understood what he was teaching me, but he said, Lynn, you always need to be playing up. Now, again, I grew up playing sports. I played football when girls didn't play football. I played baseball when girls didn't play baseball. And I played basketball. But my father always had me playing up 3 years. And he said, you can't be the best one on the court. Because if you're the best one on the court, you're not learning anything.
But when your father said that, you can't always be the best one on the court. One of the things I think those of us that have competed, especially in sports, learn that you may be the best today, but tomorrow is a totally new day.
Absolutely. Yes,
right?
Yes.
I mean, isn't he kind of like poking at that a little bit?
Yes,
maybe?
Absolutely. That's the point, right? He's preparing me to always be at that next level. So that when I get to that next level, it's so easy for me. It's like me waking up in the morning when I get to that new level. I experience the growing pains and the stretching and the expansion years forward before I need it. So it absolutely is. And then, because you can't train when you're in the moment, I guess is what I'm saying. You got to be prepared when you show up. People don't just show up and hit the winning shot or make the winning recommendation or make the winning speech, that being their first time. They have had trained and done it so many times, and I would argue under way more pressure than what they're currently doing. Right? So that it's just easy.
Yeah. I mean, and then the other thing too is there's a level of humility around having that sense too, that I can be in that zone of winning and still have a sense of humility that will also allow me to stay at the top of my game. When we come back, we're going to talk about, wait a minute, what'd she just say? Does that mean I shouldn't expect to win? Does that mean I shouldn't expect to succeed? And what does the energy of that look like? How often do we say we want to win, say we want to succeed, but underneath it, we're not really all in. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. Lynn Brown is in the house, and we'll tell you about upcoming events and how you can get in touch with Lynn yourself. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, talk radio to thrive by. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm.
You, yes you, can be the highest version of yourself. Wellness coach and natural beauty expert Dr. Agnes Frankel is on a mission to help you play the game of your life. Win in vibrancy, health, and beauty. Because you deserve it. Dr. Agnes goes beyond the limits in her personal coaching sessions to revolutionize health and wellness. Now is the time to unleash your true power. For more information, visit dragnesfrankel.com.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Badili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com, and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
This is a really great topic. Lynn Brown's in the house. Start winning now. We're talking about Lynn's personal top 5 gold nuggets for winning at the game of life. And, there are many, many ways we can step out there and win or not win. But what is it about winning that has probably very little to do with the actual outcome? Well, you're going to hear about all of that today. Before we jump into that, though, Lynn, what is the best way for people to find out more about you, as well as, what kind of juicy things you got coming up here?
LynnMBrown.com is my website.
Yeah.
Rawness of Life Facebook page. I have a lot of great up-to-minute, up-to-date stuff on my Facebook page as well.
Nice.
And yeah, anybody and everybody could reach out to me. I welcome the conversation and I welcome the collaboration with you wherever you are in life. And because I just love people. And so my email is lynn@intuit.com. And some of my events that are coming up they're in January, because I'm going to take a little sojourn in December. But I have a really good event coming up in January, on January 21st at the Maya Whole Health Studio. It's called The Colorful World of Energy and Chakras. This is basically like unveiling the color map to your life. What the chakras are and how they are actually a treasure. It's a map to the treasure chest of the things that you want to create in your life. And I give everybody a personal reading on their prominent aura color and why that's really powerful and what that really means to them. Give them some tools. And it's actually going to be a 2-part series. So then, because that's a yoga studio, so they're going to do a part 2 and build on that information and do yoga based on the chakras and the intentions behind the chakras. So you can contact Maya Whole Health Studio in Renton, Washington, and sign up directly. And then in Mount Vernon, so a little farther north of Seattle and Bellevue, in Mount Vernon, I'm returning to do another workshop up there on January 27th. It's a Friday, and what I'm going to be teaching here is basic energy tools. So there'll be a part 1 and a part 2 that build on each other. And this is really going to start training you how to energetically create and manifest the external things that you want in your life, right? Really starting to own your creations, own your daily activities, own your attitude, And these are real intuitive energy tools that we learn. And I feel like people should start to be, you should start learning these things because they're powerful. They're real.
Yeah. And, part of this is really, the part by which information is coming to us, we are being bombarded by it. We can't use the old school logic, write it down on paper, pros and cons. People have to make decisions in the moment on the spot.
Yeah. People need to get into it. They need to get into it. You can't just read about it anymore.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Almost anything that I'm teaching now is very instructional. It is embodiment of this. And when it comes to energy work and energy and transformation, like literal transformation, you can't just intellectualize it. You have to embody it. You have to use the muscles, the energy muscles. To make that shift.
And that's actually what we're talking about here now. We're talking about, okay, wait a minute. That was, we're talking about these nuggets that you've discovered along the way. Surround yourself by winners. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. But, here we are now talking about, well, wait a minute. What should I expect? Don't reinvent the wheel. But I'm special. I'm so very special. How do we balance this out, between, well, wait a minute, I need to be unique and individual. Oh, but I still need to expect to win and succeed. Can I expect to win and succeed by not trying to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's another key. And I think so. I think you brought up a really good dichotomy, and one I think would be served to sit with themselves and say, what is more important to me? Succeeding at this thing, or having the self or external validation of reinventing the wheel. Really, when you're serious and when you're honest with yourself, which one becomes more important? When I was growing up, I kept finding myself being in these really amazing positions where mentors and leaders were constantly opening these doors for me. And so I thought, gosh, do I have a sign on my head that says, what's going on here? But what I realized was that I was seeking that. Like I was seeking that knowledge from somebody that had already achieved it. So this is the first time you hearing this, but when I started considering being on the radio and talking about these things and helping people, I went to somebody in this radio network and I said, hey, who's this Dr. Pat chick? I have these two scenarios sitting here before me. And somebody said, this person who I asked said, the biggest, most support, most knowledge, most impactful worldwide place that you could be is with Dr. Pat. And I said, done, thank you, end of conversation. That is my choice, right? Because she already has done it. She's already invented the wheel. And all I need to do is jump on and hold on, right? And then go with the flow and go with the turns of the wheel and begin to embody those things for myself. And same thing goes in business, right? So for anybody listening, it goes through sports. I will literally go pick out the person who is the best on the team, or with the best with the stats, or the best salesperson. If I want to be the best salesperson, or if I want to be great at something, I literally go seek out the best. I literally in college went and I seeked out the dean of business, and intellectually picking his brain about stuff is one thing, but the entrainment energetically, I'm talking about spiritually here, right? The entrainment of being next to somebody who has already created the wheel, who's always, even if they didn't create it, they know the wheel and they're using the wheel. So I don't have to. So if I can say my success or the achievement of this thing is more important to me than my ego, and recreating this wheel, I already know the answer to that. And it works. It works so well. And anytime that I want to be good at something, and here's my recommendation to everybody out there, anytime that you really in your heart and in your gut want to be great at something, the shortest route there is to go attach yourself to somebody who's already been great at it.
Yeah. You know, I love what you're talking about for several reasons. One of them is that if this were an emergency right now, let's say some strange thing popped up and we had an emergency situation right now, we would not hesitate to take the shortest route to get whatever that emergency in front of us was handled.
Yes.
You know, but we don't look at our lives like that. You know, we don't look at the fact that an emergency is not necessarily the right word, but it's certainly a great analogy.
It is.
Right?
It is.
You know what I'm talking about.
It is. I use that with people so many times, actually. And I don't use emergency, but I use the example of what if your life depended on it?
Right.
And guess what? It does depend on it, really. But what if your life depended on it? Or what if I said, hey, if you can make it to Paris by this time tomorrow, you will literally be healed. You will literally be financially independent. We would find the shortest route. And we wouldn't stop to think about, now here's kind of moving into the next nugget, but we wouldn't stop to list all the possible things that could derail us. We wouldn't. So we have it built in. That's what I'm saying. You're born a winner. You already have this at your core. You already know how to win. And we wouldn't be derailed. You know, so many times, even when I say to people around me, this big goal that I have, I know I'm going to achieve it. I know I'm focused on it. And these other things off to the side that people like to say, well, what if this, and what if that, and what if that? And I say, I don't even have time to hear about those things. We wouldn't stop, like you say, in an emergency to consider those things. And I feel like my life does depend on it. And so those things just don't, you're right. I mean, I don't understand why people do stop and consider those things or ask people to validate that those things might happen. I guess potentially in there we're afraid to succeed.
That's it. See, that's what we were talking about earlier, is that it's that level of doubt that squeaks in. You know, it really plays upon us asking ourselves, what really is the strength of our conviction? You know, do I really, really believe in this? You know, here's the thing I want to say, and let's go to break, because when we come back, we're going to talk about, you know, wait a minute, goals, focus, what is that about? Here's what I know about what happened to me 14 years ago. I dialed the wrong phone number. And I was completely ignorant. And I say that, meaning I had no idea what was being presented to me. I had no idea what any of this was about. I had a clean sheet of paper around this. And so there was nothing in my consciousness, my mind, or even my knowledge base that told me, Pat, you have to do it this way. The only person that told me, Pat, you have to do it this way, was some coach that Jones syndication company sent to me so that I can change my show to be syndicated. And I fired him because that wasn't going to be my show. My show was not going to be about angry yelling and screaming at people. And you know, his question to me was, Lynn, why do you always have these people on that you always agree with and praise? Well, let's take a short break because Lynn's going to explain that one. Lynn Brown's in the house, everybody. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Tune in to Dynamics of Diversity Radio, scripting the new narrative for immigration with leading experts Kripa Upadhyaya and Steve Tanijo on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This show will remove the noise that often accompanies discussions on this topic and share a new perspective on the dynamics of immigration and diversity, ever reminding us that together we are all at the core of innovation, excellence, and positive change. Visit OrbitLawPLLC.com for upcoming topics.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
Would you like to experience life-transforming adventures in personal expansion and world service? If you do, tune in to learn about magical innate abilities that you can develop and use to make your dreams come true. Joy Elaine is author of the Joy Chronicles, and she's inviting you and millions of others to join her in working with galactic masters, angels, and the Ashtar Command as they assist humanity and planet Earth to achieve their ultimate destination of ascension. For more information about this upcoming event and broadcast, visit joyelaine.com. That's joy, ELAINE.com.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I love this time of year. You know, many people say, why, Pat? Why do you love this time of year? Well, there's something magical that happens on air, and you all as listeners are part of it. Lynn Brown is here with me today, and she and I have talked quite a bit about how extraordinary the listeners are. And I've said this more times than I can even tell you, but you all are the best audience on the planet by far. Everyone that comes on, every guest I've ever had, and there have been thousands, say the same thing about all of you. The question is, as many times as I've said it, as many times as Lynn has said it, do we actually believe that? You know, do we actually believe that? Or is it like, oh, geez, Pat, you kind of say that to everybody. Gee, Lynn, you wouldn't say a bad thing about anybody, right? Mm-hmm. But you know what? Here's the deal. What is it about us that's willing to fully embrace this? And once we embrace this, how do we set this into action, Lynn? How do we do that? Where do we go? Now I believe you. Now I'm putting myself around people. Now I'm not reinventing the wheel. Now I'm expecting to win. Now what?
Now we need to know what we're applying all that energy and focus towards. We need the goal. We need the focal point, the focus point of the arrival. And this is so key because otherwise we have all of that energy. Now I'm talking about mental energy. I'm talking about creation energy, which we're going to really get into. We have all that energy just kind of going all over the place unless we narrow the focus down and point it in a very specific direction. A lot of people, I mean, we all inherently have creation energy exuding from us constantly, but it is our lack of awareness of how powerful that creation energy is, and the unintention that we just kind of let it go around everywhere, right? And we start creating stuff we don't even know we're creating. And I think that if people really, really, really understood the power of their intention and their thoughts, they would start focusing a little bit more on harnessing those thoughts and then creating the goal, right? So it can be a physical goal, like a health goal. It could be a triathlon goal. It can be a financial goal, right? It can be a position goal, you want to be a comedian. You have to have the goal to harness and to wrap in and to funnel this energy towards. Okay. So that it becomes your one and only focus point. Like I said at the beginning of the show, when you have that focus point and you're determined, you're locked in on it mentally and energetically, everything else around it should merely be particles of dust. Literally. You can't see anything else. So it's not just an idea. We have to ground it by defining it. And if you look up how to set a goal, there's stuff all over all over. Yeah. Make it measurable, make it blah, blah, blah. And that's great. And I believe that. But I want you to ground it by defining it and ground it into reality. So this takes it and it brings it out of the mental space into the physical. It starts to birth this into the physical by doing this. This is energetic. I see this happening energetically. This is how we manifest. I know these laws of manifestation. We have to ground it, make it solid, write it down, state it, find a picture of it so you can really hold that focal point in your mind. It begins to draw energy to this goal. It's like a magnet drawing little shavings of the particle shavings, right? That it would attract one of those metals. So it's like the world's most very powerful magnet starting to attract all the metal shavings. Well, this begins in the energetic plane with this focus point, and then it brings these energetic shavings until it constructs the physical form of this goal, right? And then it's there presented in your physical form. So that's why it's so important to channel and focus on this goal, and to not be distracted, because these other obstacles that we create for ourselves in the peripheral, right? Anything that everybody right now, do this with me. Get the image of something in front of you out on the horizon and really be clear about this picture and how it feels, and start focusing your conviction energy towards it, your determination, your emotions towards it, and notice that in the peripheral there might be these little things of doubt popping up. I call them mirages, right? When you're driving in a desert and you got a focus point off to the side, you see these little things moving, but they're just mirages. And if you keep your eye focused and you keep your intention focused moving forward, the mirages don't ever actually manifest themselves as physical form. We just drive past them. They weren't really there, right? Oftentimes, we turn our attention in life to what I would call those mirages. We turn our attention to, well, what if I run out of gas before I get there? We turn our attention to, what if I run out of money before I achieve that goal? We turn our attention to, what if this person won't accept me as this if I become this thing, right? We turn our attention to that, and then our focal point becomes that thing. And literally, we are starting to channel our determination and our creation energy to that thing.
And can you talk about this idea of what this means to turn our energy towards it? I mean, what are we saying? So for those of us that want to succeed, when we stop and we turn our energy towards it, then that means that our energy is not on something that distracts us. So the opposite of focus is distraction, isn't it?
Correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say it as, if my goal was to get to Seattle,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna in my mind I'm gonna map the straightest shot there and the quickest shot right there. If that was my ultimate goal, and as I'm walking, I will see these side streets, but I'm not gonna turn down them. Why would I turn down them? Mentally, why would I even acknowledge that they're there?
Mm-hmm.
And then why would I take 20 steps or a half a mile detour down this road that isn't directly in the path to my shortest distance? As a kid growing up, I don't know where I learned these things, but I did embody them. And one of the reasons that I stayed on track so much is because I didn't go out and party with my friends. I didn't stay out past 10. I didn't have any rules. I could have done whatever I wanted to. But I knew that if I stayed out past 10, my body would be fatigued in the morning and my training wouldn't be as efficient, or I wouldn't be as mentally sharp when I went to train in the morning for my sport.
Mm-hmm.
And my ultimate goal was to be the best in that sport
mm-hmm.
that I could be, right? And so why would I take these things? Why would I go drink at the party? Why would I go drink alcohol? I mean, why would I do that if I knew the next day it would impact my ability to fully perform?
Right.
When that was my ultimate goal.
Right. And, here's this, right? I have had goals throughout my life. I didn't know there were goals. I mean, I'm not one of these, we're coming up on this in January. And for those of you out there, we're going to just skip the break because we got lots to talk about here. But, we come up with this thing in January to set these New Year resolution things. I've never been really good with them because what I've discovered about myself here recently, I did a little self-inventory, by the way. I always do that, once every 5 years. So this was the year to do it. And I did a little self-inventory. What I discovered about myself is that if I really took the time to set up these resolutions and be, more like somebody I'm not, I guarantee you that my personality and the way I go about life, I wouldn't get half of them done. And I would love for you to talk about how we can integrate intuition in this aspect of setting goals and focus, because the other thing I know you're going to talk about here is how to practice all of this and set that intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people listening to this may be drawn to the idea of, yep, I get what she's saying. I'm going to put my list together. I'm going to do that. But I think you're also saying something else. And I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yeah, there's a couple elements and ingredients that go into this package. One is the goal, right? But I'll call it the element of determination. There has to be this energy, and it's not only a mindset; it is a literal energy on the energy plane, determination. And I call that the gas pedal. That really comes from our third chakra. That really comes from the universal power of will within us all. So we have it. You can see with yourself, is that burning? Is that desire there? Is there that determination? And determination, here's what determination is. You want to feel determination? Every one of us can muster up the determination and that burning desire inside of us, inside of our gut, when we find a pair of shoes that we really want. And we don't have the money. That tool that we want, that car that we want. You guys feel that?
Yeah.
We're locked in, and there's determination, and the creation energies are already just kind of chomping away at creating that for us and removing all obstacles. And so that's a literal element, an ingredient that is necessary. And if you're not in alignment with your highest good, if you're not in alignment with your path, and you're just trying to do something for somebody else or because everybody else is doing it, I feel like you're going to lack that real determination.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good way to just check in with yourself. Like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but for some reason I'm not feeling it. So therefore, I'm not going to even start down that path. Because it literally is a universal, natural, spiritual tool that we are given within. And the determination allows us, again, to not be stopped. The determination allows us to run through mud.
Yeah.
To get to our goal.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the determination, maybe it's not the real goal that you should be going for.
Yeah. And those of us that have trained, we know what it's like to run through mud, because running through mud and running through sand is, I don't know about the coaches you've had, but, my coach was from Africa, and he learned, how to do what he does really well by running in sand.
Yeah.
And that whole idea of running in mud and running in sand, people would say, oh, that's agonizing. But the other flip side of that is that it builds incredible stamina. Isn't that part of it too? We have to have some level of resilience without resistance.
Yeah. And I call that conviction.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I call that conviction. And it's in your heart. And it's another necessary ingredient to this fourth golden nugget, right? Of grounding your goal into the reality and not focusing on it. It's another way to check in with yourself, because we're talking about physically moving on the planet to achieve goals, but literally energetically and spiritually holding the intention of winning, holding the energy of winning. And these are absolutely mental qualities and energetic spiritual qualities that have to be combined with the physical movement, right? And the physical steps towards those goals. You could tell me to do all of these things and I would be the best skydiver. But if I had no conviction or no desire or no determination and those elements were missing, I wouldn't be the best skydiver. Even if I said I would be, right? If that element of true conviction is missing, you're not going to be the best skydiver.
Yeah. I mean, and, here we go, right? Now we're looking at this and we're looking at the process and we're looking at, okay, I'm in the game. I got to lean into the winning thing. I think that what I'm doing is setting everything in the right direction. And yet at the same time, there's a fifth nugget, and that nugget has a lot of elements to it. I know you touched upon one of them, but I really want folks to hear, what this last nugget is about, because without it, we don't really have a winning team. Seahawks are not going to win, right? So tell us about this last nugget.
Yeah. And this last nugget is about training the muscles, the mental muscles, the physical muscles, and the energetic muscles. And energy and spirit is always the same to me, right? So this is training your energetic muscles. And this is the fifth nugget is engage in activities with the intention of getting closer to your goal rather than going through the motions. So a real life example with me is I think, and I knew growing up, again, I wanted the ultimate goal to be every time I shot a basket, it was going in. I just wanted to be the best shooter that I could potentially be. I expected the ball to go in, but then I had to train my muscles to support that goal, right? So I know a lot of people who would go out and train, and they would say, okay, I'm going to shoot around for a half hour. Okay. And then there's another group of people who would say, okay, I'm going to go shoot around. I'm going to shoot 500 shots. And then I had the mentality that I'm going to go make 300 shots.
Wow.
And there is a different scale of intensity of focus there, right? In training, because when you go shoot around for a half hour, you are moving and you're playing with the ball, but the mental focus is not there. And you're not training your body to the ultimate goal of making the shot every time. Same thing with just shooting, right? When you just shoot 500 shots, yeah, you're getting in repetition, but you're getting in repetition without the ingredient of the focus of the ultimate goal. And so,
yeah. And there's a vibe about that.
Right.
There's an energy about that. You know, we know, and when you say shooting, you're talking about a basketball, so people know,
yeah,
right?
Yep.
When you let go of that ball, you know, you have a sense, right? Both intuitively, but right in your gut, you can hear the swish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that when we're engaged, and it doesn't have to be a sport.
No.
This could be about a job. This could be about something you're doing with your children. There's this feeling, there's this knowing. You know, I don't know. Is it a stretch to say it's fulfillment?
I don't think so. You have to train. You have to literally train the muscles of the intention that you're trying to create. Like in a job. So a lot of people want to be able to apply success and winning to their jobs, right? So So let's take a financial planning role.
Yeah.
I could say, hey, I'm going to really step up my game, get closer to my goal. And so therefore I'm going to come in and work for 5 hours on Saturday. Well, I could come in and work, or I could come in and set a goal of making 100 phone calls, or I could come in and set the goal of creating 20 appointments. And those are different levels of focus. And if your goal is to clock hours, then you are fully fulfilling your goal by just coming in and being there. But if your goal is actually to see people, then you have to set the appointments.
Yeah.
And so you need to go into every action with the intention of, is this ultimately training me to get closer to my goal? Is this ultimately getting me closer to my goal or not? And if it's not, how can I tweak this to get closer?
Wow. Well, I mean, this topic today, I mean, let's just kind of go back and recap. And before we do, again, let folks know, Lynn, how they can find out more about you. And, for folks that want to get things moving, what is it that they're going to be able to do with you to get things fired up here?
Well, I can meet with people one-on-one. I do hour individual sessions with people on their energy and helping them transform that energy into the physical aspects of the life that they desire. So through my intuitive and energetic healing abilities, as well as my life examples, right, my coaching skills. I can do workshops on demand. So if people want to gather people from 5 to 10 people and have me come in and really teach them these tools and personalize it to their group, I love to do that. Love to do that. And then again, we have these workshops already coming up in January through Maya Whole Health Center and the Riverwalk Studio in Mount Vernon. But again, I'm just a phone call or an email away, and I just love to engage with people.
Well, and part of this is, I don't know about you, but I'm not really good at doing things by myself. Sometimes we need another perspective for people to cheer us on, for us to get going in a direction that we cannot see for ourselves, but then others see for us, which is kind of cool. Thank you for today, Lynn. I would really love to know, this is a big topic. What do you want to leave everyone with today? What are some of the things we can think about in your personal message?
I have a really challenge for everybody. And all my life I've held on to this personal quote of mine. And I would love people to try to take this challenge of leaping into the words of this quote. And the quote is, "The larger the leap of faith that you take, the further you are when you've landed." Jump.
Nice.
And hold that faith, hold that determination, and go follow that conviction and determination in your heart. And the other thing is, I'm going to share a very personal message that I got from Spirit in my mentorship with Spirit about creation. And this was the direct quote or guidance that I received. So you can feel into this and use this if you desire. My children, whatever you desire, do not worry about how to get it. Release all control. Be in complete and total surrender. Hold the destination or desire as an image in your heart and infuse it with breath. Infuse it with passion and leave the rest up to me.
Awesome. Lynn Brown, everyone. We're going to take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.